Hello and welcome to another episode of Naughty Nerds. I am feeling good. Jake is on his way to feeling better. And we've had the most insane busy week this week. Next week, we are launching our Black Friday offers. So if when this goes out, please do go to our website and sign up for our email marketing newsletter because we are releasing some really exclusive deals next week. 20% off websites and loads of other things that we're doing to wrap up the end of 2023 as we go into 2024, and a little bit of a sneak preview. Early 2024, we will be launching our new website and our new branding for Nautilus. And I'm very, very excited to share this with you. And recently, you may have been seeing from my LinkedIn posts and on social media, we've been going to quite a lot of conferences in the UK as well as sort of overseas, abroad as well. And I love it because it really fuels my passion for what I do and what I love. And to meet fellow nerds and talk to them about what's going on and things like that is fantastic. And I love it. And something that has cropped up a couple of times while speaking to people and other agency owners is about when businesses move from agency to agency. And it's a little bit like, I don't know, sleeping with loads of people in a sense. And I love going to these events because I can talk to other agency owners. And as I mentioned in a few episodes ago, keeping your competitors in a way is close is important because you can learn from each other, you can support and help one another. As I said before, there are plenty of fish in the sea as long as you are trustworthy and honest with those competitors. It's not gonna end in a bad way at all. You are helping and growing each other's companies. I do it a lot of the time. It works well. But anyway, that's not what I was the point of this episode. So I was talking to a couple of people that own agencies, and a lot of them say, Tom, one of my things that really bugged me about working with businesses is they've had a bad relationship with an agency in the past because they've not done things right. And over time, it has just broken down relationships. They don't trust you, right? And that is the most important thing when it comes down to working with an agency is trust, because you are giving us money to put our expert advice and thoughts and opinion to what we need to do, right? Because we're the experts and we're going to advise things to be done. Now, when it comes down to websites, for example, when it comes down to SEO, from a marketing point of view, and this just boggles my mind, let's say, for example, you go to an agency, okay? And you work with that agency for 3 months or 4 months, a very short period of time, and the results aren't there. And there might be a load of different reasons why the results aren't there, but you just think, no, the results aren't there. Now, yes, of course, some agencies don't do things right, but we are an agency for a reason. We have very good reviews. Let's say, for example, taking us for an example. Now, if you go to an agency for 3 months, leave, then go to another agency for 3 months, the same thing is going to happen. You are going to see a little bit of an increase maybe, and then things are going to come down again. Because what's happening is that all the agencies that you go to are doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's just overlapping, right? So nothing is ever going to get done because people have different onboarding processes, people different how startup process of how they start working on a website. So every agency is just doing the same thing over and over again. So then when it comes down to actually sticking with an agency for longer than the period that they've worked with other agencies, things are going to kick in and they're going to start working. Prime example of this, one of our old clients who we stopped working with for this very reason, when we initially had our onboarding call, he told us that he had worked with an agency for 6 months ago. And then before that, I said, yeah, so around about 6 months ago, what were you? Oh, yeah, actually, at that point, we just finished working with another agency. And I think in the space of a year, this chap had worked with nearly 4 or 5 agencies in SEO and Google Ads. So all they're doing is the same things. Nothing is moving in any direction because as soon as when you start getting somewhere, they just start working with another agency. and it defeats the whole object. And we've been working on Nautilus's brand voice recently. I've been working with one of the team, and we've been looking at our mission statement and how we sound as a brand and loads of cool stuff. And it's been really interesting. And by doing that, it's really sort of put into perspective of why I started Nautilus. I didn't really intend to start a business, but there's a premise of why I did. And that premise was I want to sort of debunk and start working with absolute assholes in terms of agencies giving a bad rep in terms of our industry, because they do. Or if you mention an agency, well, really expensive fees, not very good sort of progress and that kind of stuff. And it's because it's not done right. I used to work for those agencies, I used to freelance for those agencies, and all they would do is take resource and dwindle it down each month. And it just doesn't end well. It ends well for them because there's cash in their in their pockets. It doesn't end well in terms of success. And that's something that really bugs me, why people go from agency to agency. It's not because of our results. It's because of a problem that they've had with an agency before and an agency before that. So they just get scared and then run away. And as we all know, marketing isn't a straight line to success. Anyone that tells you that it is just doesn't know what they're talking about. As an example, with our SEO, over time, let's say 2 years ago, we were here and now we're here. But the line to get from here to here wasn't straight. There was some decreases with updates. There was some increases, some massive drops. So it's a constant up and down. Just like, for example, at school, you don't get good grades all the time. If you are, you're very lucky, you're very intelligent. The majority of people, you get a good grade, then you might get a little bit of a less good grade. Then you get a good grade, then it goes down and it goes up. But still, you graduate school and do what you need to do. Obviously, probably not the best example there, but you get my point, right? It's constantly an up and down thing. Just like when you look at sound waves while I'm recording this episode, you can see them going up and down. It's exactly the same when it comes down to marketing. So if you're going to work with an agency, this is why we don't do locking contracts. And we should really, to keep people in, to actually say, right, this is what we're going to do. And this is how long you need to see success. And we do. I say to SEO clients that are on board with us, it's not going to take 2 months. It could take 9 months. It could take 12 months. You'll see the little baby steps along the way, but it's going to take time. And just put it into perspective. If you keep going to different agencies and changing your mind every 5 seconds, you're not giving that agency that you're working with the actual chance to onboard you and work with you as a client. You're just going back and forth and back and forth. And it's annoying for us because we can't do our job. Obviously, we would lose you as a client. And you're just giving a bad rep to our industry as agencies because everyone's doing the same thing. Of course, you're not going to see good results. So if you are working with an agency, and I say this with an open heart, don't question everything they do. Of course, if things aren't going well, there will be reasons behind why they aren't going well. Find that data out. As an example, don't run an ad campaign for a week and then ask, where is the data? What's happening? We need more than a week to assess the data and what's happening. So just trust your agency if they are reputable in what they do. We've just worked with Amazon on a massive project. We've just won an award for what we do. We know what we're doing. Please trust us and do your research. I recorded an episode, I think it was maybe last year, about how to work with an agency, how to source an agency, how to find the agency for you. And that initial discovery call that you have is vital because that 20 minutes, half an hour that you have with an agency really, really depicts your future. Because if you get really bad vibes, don't go with them. If you get a really good vibe, you're having a conversation about the weather, as us British do, talking about your brand, you're talking about what's happening. Everyone's happy, right? So take that initial call, a bit like a speed date, right? Of course, you're going to do your research on what you need to do. Play it cool, right? Play it safe because these things are going to happen and help massively in the future when it happens because that's what we want. So please take this advice. Don't hop from agency to agency every 3 or 4 months. Give them the time. If they're doing what they're doing, they're actually doing the work, which you can clearly quite obviously see with how they're responding to you and exactly what they're doing. But please do give an agency time because it isn't going to take 3 months. Be in it for the long run. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Have a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed this and I hope it has been useful to somewhat of a degree. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. Stay awesome, stay safe, but most importantly, stay nerdy.